And over in Poland today, President Biden vowing to maintain U.S. support for Ukraine. And now other potential 2024 contenders are weighing in as the amount of aid comes into question. NTD's Iris Tao has more from the White House.
Following a surprise visit to Kyiv on Monday, President Biden gives a major speech in Warsaw, Poland, and renews his vow to continue supporting Ukraine.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. Never.
And he underscores that his administration's commitment to Ukraine could be for the long term, even as some Republicans in Congress are questioning the amount of aid.
The defense of freedom is not the work of a day or of a year, and we will not tire.
But as Biden makes a statement with his trip to Ukraine and then Poland, other potential 2024 contenders are weighing in on the now year-long war. In a Monday speech, former President Trump called for cutting aid to Ukraine, saying, quote, continuing to pour money in is delaying a settlement. And Florida Governor ron-DeSantis says U.S. commitment to Ukraine shouldn't get out of control as China is a bigger threat.
These things can escalate, and I don't think it's in our interest to be getting into proxy war with China getting involved.
Meanwhile, in a Tuesday speech in Moscow,
4%.
Russian President Vladimir Putin announces that Russia is suspending participation in the New START treaty, a key nuclear arms control treaty between the U.S. and Russia. Biden did not address Putin's announcement on Tuesday, but did take aim at the Russian president by saying,
President Putin chose this war. Every day the war continues is his choice.
All this as sources told the Wall Street Journal that China's Xi Jinping is heading to Moscow in the coming months. And China already sent its top diplomat to Moscow on Tuesday, even amid U.S. allegations that Beijing is considering providing lethal support to Russia. Reporting from the White House, Iris Tao, NTD News.
The New START treaty was signed in 2010 and sets limits on the nuclear arsenals of both the U.S. and Russia. The two countries are thought to hold about 90% of the world's existing nuclear warheads. The quantity is enough to destroy Earth many times over. Putin's announcement to suspend the treaty today was part of his national address on the war in Ukraine.
Putin's remarks were part of a major address to the parliament in Moscow. The speech came 1 year after he ordered the invasion of Ukraine. Flanked by 4 Russian tricolor flags, Putin told Russia's elites that the war was forced upon them. He accused the U.S.-led NATO alliance of fanning the flames of the conflict.
Responsibility for fomenting the Ukrainian conflict, for its escalation, and for the increasing number of victims lies entirely with Western elites. And of course, the current regime in Kyiv.
Again, he justified the war as a legitimate response to what he called threats from the West, as well as Ukraine.
We protect people's lives, our homeland, and the West's goal is unlimited power.
Throughout his nearly 2-hour speech, Putin vowed to advance the battles in Ukraine, claiming it's impossible to defeat Russia. He also touched on issues including Moscow's annexation of 4 regions of Ukraine and the impact of Western-led sanctions on the Russian economy. Tens of thousands have died since the conflict started in Eastern Europe. Moscow has suffered 3 major setbacks on the battlefield, but still controls about 1/5 of Ukraine.